Frantz Fanon's book, Black Skin, White Masks, is an exploration of how racism affects black identity. The book was published in 1952 during a time when colonization and racial oppression were widespread. Through each chapter, Fanon explains how racism is not just a political or social issue. It gets inside the minds of the oppressed and changes how they see themselves and the world. In the beginning, Fanon describes how language becomes a weapon in the hands of colonizers. Black people, especially those from colonized nations, are often taught that speaking perfect French or the language of the colonizer makes them closer to being civilized. But what this really means is that they are being taught to reject their own culture. When a black person speaks like a white French person, they are not just using another language, they are being forced to leave behind their roots and adopt a new identity shaped by those in power. This creates a deeper inner conflict. They want to belong, but the price of belonging is the loss of their self worth and culture. Fanon then moves to the psychological damage caused by this identity conflict. He talks about how black children are taught to see white people as good, beautiful, and intelligent, while blackness is linked with evil, ugliness, and stupidity. These ideas are everywhere in books, films, advertisements, and everyday conversation. Over time, this constant message leads to self hatred. A black person begins to believe that to be fully human or accepted, they must try to be white. That is what Fanon means by the title White Masks. Black people are forced to wear the metaphorical mask of whiteness in order to survive in a world that denies them dignity. Fanon shares stories from his psychiatric work showing how colonial racism causes deep mental trauma. He describes patients who are so confused by the racism they experience that they cannot understand who they are anymore. Some want to bleach their skin. Others dream of marrying white people so their children can be lighter. These examples reveal how racism enters a person's dreams, desires, and sense of self. Fanon doesn't blame individuals for this. He shows how society creates these painful dreams through centuries of colonial domination. A large part of the book explores the idea of desire and how it is shaped by race. Fanon talks about interracial relationships, especially between black men and white women or black women and white men. He suggests that sometimes these relationships are shaped by the fantasy that being with someone of another race can offer escape or power. A black man may desire a white woman not only for love, but also because he has been taught to see her as a symbol of status and acceptance. A black woman may desire a white man in the hope that her children will be lighter and face less discrimination. Fanon is not judging love across races. He is showing how colonization affects in our most personal relationships. These relationships are often filled with unconscious attempts to escape from racism rather than being based on equal love. Fanon looks at how black people are viewed through stereotypes. Fanon talks about how black men are often seen as strong, athletic, hypersexual, while black women are seen as either exotic or overly submissive. These stereotypes are not just offensive, they trap people in fixed roles. A black person is not allowed to be seen as fully human with individual hopes, emotions, and intelligence. Instead, they are seen as symbol objects. Fanon argues that racism reduces people to their skin color and denies them the right to be seen as individuals. Fanon explores how the black person tries to escape from this situation. Sometimes they try to become completely assimilated, to dress like white people, speak like white people, speak their language, and act like them. But this never fully works. No matter how much a black person tries to become acceptable, society still sees them as different. They are still black in a white world, still the other. The attempt to wear the white mask does not bring peace. It increases pain and confusion because it means rejecting a part of oneself that can never fully be hidden. Fanon also discusses the black man's struggle for recognition. He explains that true recognition means being seen as equal human being, not as symbol, not as a threat, not as a problem to be solved. But colonial society never gives this recognition. Instead, it sees the black person as a shadow, always defined by their difference. Fanon says that to gain real freedom, black people must reject the system that defines them as lesser. They must create their own meaning, language, and their own future, not one given to them by the colonizer. The final chapter offers a more hopeful message. Fanon writes that he does not want to be trapped by history. He refuses to let the past of slavery and racism define who he is. At the same time, he says that forgetting the past is not the answer. Instead, people must understand the past so they can build a different future. He wants to be a man among other men, nothing more, nothing less. He rejects both white superiority and black inferiority. His dream is not to switch roles and dominate white people, but to create a world where no one is judged by their skin. Fanon ends by saying that each person has the power to choose who they are and to fight against systems that try to reduce